Anyways, how was this spring semester for you and the team?
I mean, it was good. There's been a lot of challenges this year, as everyone knows at this point. But I think it was nice to be able to have some of the students returning in person, and being able to offer some of the things that we have been offering more normally. So being able to do the Morgan Franklin program with some of our participants and at least putting some more of that normalcy back into their everyday life, which was good. And it's really beneficial to be able to offer MFF because it's all stuff that they need to know in their real life. So students, as they're doing it, are not actually complaining about doing it because they're like, oh, I really need to know this. Like, oh, that was really helpful. So that part has been really nice to see.
That's pretty cool that they're connecting that to real life. Now, did most of them do it in person with you and your colleagues this year?
It was kind of a mix because students were not mostly in person. So as students started to come back, we did have several of them completed in person with myself and the other instructors. But there were still several students that worked on it independently from home because they stayed full remote. And then they would just check in with us and we would provide assistance as needed.
Nice. Now, were there any particular topics or things that you heard about more so from students, or things that they liked more or didn't understand, or anything that stands out?
I think they really like it all overall, but I would say the sections about credit and investing are probably where they have the most difficulty, but also they see the most value. I think that it's hard for them to grasp how those things work. Oftentimes, when students come into us, their initial thoughts about credit is that it's free money, and we're always having to tell them that credit is not free money. So it's kind of nice to for them to be able to learn that somewhere else. But I think that credit and the section about investing often is difficult for them, but they do see a lot of value there, and they have an interest in learning more.
That's cool. Yeah, it's still like a mystery to us people that are not in high school as well. I think they make it complicated for the sake of it being a really good business for them. But that's cool that they kind of were like, it's nice that it's a kind of it's almost like when you deal with like your family or like your kids or your nieces or nephews, and you could tell them something 25 times and like they're never going to get it until somebody else says like, oh, by the way, did you know this? And then they come back to you and they're like, oh my god, that thing. And you're like, I told you that like a million times, but I'm glad that you get it now.
No, and that's a very much the case of what happens for us, because we are the ones that tell them these things over and over. It's the same thing. As soon as they hear it somewhere else, they're like, it clicks, and it's like, yep, we've been telling you for the last 12 months, but okay. I
That's
don't
very
really
cool.
care where they absorb the information as long as they do.
Right. Yeah, that's sometimes it takes a little while and a couple different angles to get there. But one other thing that I've thought about kind of leading up to this was Nashville like really crushed it this year with the new
Yeah, Jim
advisor.
did. Yes, so Jim ran the program just as we always envisioned we would use the program, being able to go through it all with the students as and kind of work through it together, which is how we've always wanted to do it. But as you know, when we really started using it, COVID hit and then everything. But yeah, so he was able to do that. So they had a lot of success doing it in that model, which is wonderful because that's the model we plan to use.
That's cool. Now, the students that you and the team work with on a day to day, a lot of them are also working in addition to school. And did you notice a lot of crossover with what they were going through in the program and how that related to like their experience with earning money and how they value it or use it, or any kind of discussions that kind of revolved around that?
Yeah, a lot of our students have multiple responsibilities. They're working, they're going to school, they're caring for siblings, maybe even parents, relatives, it depends. But the students that are working, I think, really take away a little bit more from the program because they can see how it relates because they're earning money and because they're, and, the when it talks about like paying yourself first and those different techniques that help young people save, I think they mean a little bit more to them because they're like, oh, that's something I should be doing and I could be doing. Whereas someone who maybe hasn't worked before, the information they still find useful, but I don't think they quite see the connection the same way as our young people do that are already working or have been working.
Okay, very cool. And did you get any consistent or interesting feedback from your advisors as they were working with students and going through the program?
I think for the most part, everyone seems to find it easy to use. Once we get the kids set up, which is always the biggest hurdle, and it's not something on your end, it's just because the links go to them, and then they always tell us they're not there, but they're actually in their email. They just so once we get through that part, it's very easy in terms of because it's very easy to navigate. And everything is just step by step, so I think that overall it's a positive experience for everyone, and it's not something that's super complicated for the staff or the students to navigate.
Cool. I know you're super busy, so any final thoughts or things that came to mind as we were hopping on the Zoom, or any feedback or experiences you had throughout the spring as you were playing with the program?
I don't think we have a whole lot. I know that we're really excited to be able to roll it out in a more um, I don't know how to describe it, in the model in which that we plan to utilize it. I think that there's a lot to be said for the conversations that happen with the program if you're doing it as a group, as opposed to if a student's working independently at home because they're remote. So we're really looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to just the partnership, because I feel like this is a great opportunity for a lot of our students to learn the skills that they need for their future.
Cool. Well, we're excited for the fall as well, and definitely that in-person discussion where people can really like throw out some ideas and hear from other people and kind of challenge their thinking a little bit is always really cool. So anyways, I really appreciate you carving out a little bit of time to chat and just to hear about how things went this spring part of the school year. So I'll let you go to your very busy day.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for all your support with the program as we've gone through it. And we really appreciate it.